Lock and Load podcast is sponsored by Lock and Load Firearms, Connecticut's #1 rated gun store and pistol permit class on Google. Come check us out, 1573 Meriden Waterbury Turnpike in Southington. Lock and Load Firearms.
Lock and Load podcast is also sponsored by Patriot Wear Holsters, custom-made Kydex holsters locally made in Waterbury, Connecticut. www.patriotwearholster.com and use code LNL podcast for 10% off your purchase. Orders available for shipping or pickup at various locations.
Welcome to Lock and Load podcast. My name's Josh.
And I'm Michelle.
And we're here to talk to you today about Connecticut 2A issues. Today's topic, a little different. So I don't know, we haven't really talked about this, but I think it'd be a good topic to just inform people is what it's like owning a small business in Connecticut in the 2A field.
We did a little bit with Art from Marksman's Den, but not a full episode.
But we're going to talk about, my issues, Michelle's issues.
We have issues.
We do. And I don't know, bring you just, information that maybe you guys wouldn't think about, especially if you don't own a business in general. If you're just, you got a normal, regular job, something different. I want to first start off with banking, credit card processing, that kind of field. Or banking.
Let's just do banking. We can do card processing later.
So when I first started my business, I didn't start off in the selling guns, right? I started off doing pistol permit classes. And jumping through the state, I'm going to even backtrack a little bit, go to the LLC aspect, getting your EIN, paying sales tax and that kind of stuff. I guess, I've said this a few times. There's no how to start a business. There's some steps online, but if you've ever read a bill, a law bill, it's basically the same thing you're reading. So I started off doing pistol permit classes. So I had, I think I was just doing a DBA in the beginning.
Okay.
Cause I wasn't doing volume, right? I was doing 4-6 people every other weekend. Okay. Got a little extra money in my pocket. And no big deal. It was really when it started to uptick during COVID is where I needed a normal business bank account because I couldn't just keep going through my personal account. That's a little red flag for the little 3-letter agency that's an IRS. And so I went to TD Bank. In Southington, there's 3 TD banks. So I was like, that's convenient, right? So whether I'm on this side of town, the center of town, or the other side of town, near Plainville, there's a bank, right? And so I opened up a TD Bank account. Who do you have?
I have Ion.
Ion. Okay. I have heard of them before. Do you know why I've heard of them? I used to service their ATMs.
Yeah. After research, I have Ion.
Yeah. Oh, okay. They're an okay bank.
Fantastic.
Oh, that's good. I do know that another store had Webster, and was explicitly told that they will not do any other gun stores. And then when this business had to change ownership, they no longer have Webster. They went with the bank I now have.
Well, and you can't have Chase. You can't have Bank of America. You can't have
Bank of America.
Yeah.
Not
so much.
Right.
Yeah. You have to do, and if you don't know, in the 2A industry, not just a gun store, but anything in the 2A industry, if you don't know these things, it's very detrimental.
Mm-hmm.
Not right out the gate. They'll take your money.
TD Bank did.
They will love you. And then all of a sudden they don't.
So I got a certified letter through UPS, not the post office, UPS.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know they did that either until Keith, my UPS driver, showed up with it. And I'm like, what the heck is this? Opened it up and I got the FU letter. So I was,
I remember that.
I was
panicked was the word. Panicked. He was panicked.
I was pissed too. Well, panic from the aspect I have money in the accounts and this is how I fund everything. Also pissed because you're now messing with my business.
Now with you, did they freeze your account
Nope.
and say you're done?
I had to get all of my money taken out by a certain day, which they did give me about 3 weeks. But it was over Black Friday week too. It was by, I think, November 28th or something.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
you're lucky. I know a lot of companies that they just freeze it.
Yeah, that's insane.
And then you have to fight to get your money.
So I went to TD Bank in Southington on Main Street, and needless to say, I was angry. And I went to the bank manager who, and I don't know if she works there anymore. I haven't been in that bank since. And talked to her, and she, pro right side of the political aisle, we'll just say, in politics. So nice enough lady. Except the letter was from the vice president of the bank, of the entire bank, of TD Bank, Toronto Denominational Bank, a Canadian bank, which 3 weeks prior to that, Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, happened to ban all transfer and sales of handguns in Canada. And then 3 weeks later, my accounts say I have another 3 weeks and you're canceled. Nothing she could do about it. Nothing they could do about it. So I was angry, and I'm like, all right, let's go find another bank, because that's what we got to do, right?
Yep.
I walked into Liberty Bank, which is a minute down the road there. And I remember what I said to them was, I was like, hi, do you guys take gun stores for business bank accounts? And they're like, what? And I'm like, I have a gun store. I own a gun store, and I have TD Bank, and they're closing out my accounts. Here's the letter. Do you take gun stores? And she's like, oh yeah, we have the one in so-and-so town. And I'm like, cool. What do I need?
Yep.
So should they give me the list of things I need? And I'm like, what do I need? Like, I need my money out. And that was an argument I had with TD Bank. I was like, so if I come in right now and I think there was like 30,000 in the account because floating capital, right? And I was like, I want my cash right now. Well, we can't do that.
It's going to take us a week.
We can get you a check. And I'm like, you're closing out my accounts and you can't give me my money. That's insane.
No bank can. If you walked in and asked for a chunk of change, no bank can.
It's insane. It's fractional banking, I think it's called.
It's like, that's my money.
Yeah.
I gave it to you in cash or in a check, and I want it back.
So they gave me a check, right? So I bring that over to Liberty, do all the paperwork I need to do. And I've had a pleasant experience ever since. I walk into that bank about once a week to do my cash deposit. And they're always like, hey, Josh, how's it going? Like, they know my name. It's generally the same people there. You get some turnaround every now and again. But absolutely a wonderful bank for that aspect. For my personal checking accounts there, because TD closed everything with me. They closed on my credit card, my personal checking account, my personal savings account, my business checking, and my business savings account. Oh, yeah. That wasn't a choice. They closed my credit card. It was $1,000 limit. They closed my credit card. Yeah. It's insane.
Well, good. Then you don't want to give them your business because they're getting money off of you anyway.
And I ripped them on social media in Southington Talks. Now I really do like Liberty. They are a Connecticut owned bank. They're out of Middletown. So smaller bank, but a large bank. They're all over the state.
You're better off
with those kind of banks
with a local bank. Local meaning not a big conglomerate,
not Bank of America,
correct, or Chase or because they do have a little more leniency because you don't have that higher up that's trying to play the political game.
Yeah,
they just are looking to supply and help their communities
and make money. Whatever they do with the money aspect, but.
A bank goes into business as a bank to make money.
Yeah.
We all go into business to make money.
Yeah. So, when that other store, we'll say reinitialized, the owner texted me and was like, what bank you go to after the whole TD Bank fiasco? And I was like, Liberty. And they opened their account with Liberty too. So if you guys are ever looking for a Pro 2A bank, not Bank of America, not TD Bank, not Webster, Chase, not Chase.
M&T is not overly friendly.
No, because they used to be People's United.
Correct. There's a bunch. It's, I tend to give businesses in general, if they're 2A friendly, I tend to give them my business. My thing was sort of like Josh's. I knew some banks, like the big banks, Bank of America, and I know that keeps coming up, but I knew that one was unfriendly. So in the back of my mind, when I started my business, I'm going, okay, I need to find a bank that is 2A friendly. And so when I walked into my bank, I was like, hi, I'm in the firearms industry. I need a bank account. How do you feel about that? Because, and they were like, I don't understand the question. And that was my first thing going, I might like you guys. And they were like, I said, well, there's a lot of banks that will not work with firearms industry transactions.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh no, we don't have a problem with that at all. And they don't. So, and it's the same
I
thing.
just opened up an Ion in town here.
I love Ion and business free checking. There's no fees whatsoever. I don't know. There's a couple other perks, but it's done very well. And they've always been very easy to contact. If I've had a problem or if I had a question or if I needed anything, I can just pick up the phone. And like Josh said, I walk into my branch. There's a couple of them actually that I frequent. And they're like, hey, Michelle, how are you? How's business? Several of them have come to me and purchased from me.
Yeah. One of the assistant manager of the branch in town here, he has.
So it's stuff like that, yes, I'm helping them, but then they come back and they also help.
Yeah.
And they remember you, which
is nice.
A lot of people don't see it as the way I do. I like it. If I can walk into a business and they remember who I am, it's sort of like when I have my customers walk in and I can recognize them and know who they are. I think that just makes it feel a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
You're not just a number. You're not just somebody who's just feeding my business. I like that feel.
Yeah.
So that's good.
So Ion and Liberty are the Lock and Load podcast approved banks.
Absolutely.
Not sponsored by.
Not sponsored by.
Just our funding goes through
Endorsed.
there. Endorsed. There we go. I think that's going to bring us right into the third issue on here. So our second issue,
because I have
credit card processing. That is a whole can of worms, just like banks.
Worse.
Let's cover the worst credit card processor for a 2A business.
PayPal.
Oh, now you were going PayPal? I'm going Square.
Square
froze my account. When I was just doing pistol permit classes.
Well, mine. I did all my processing through QuickBooks because QuickBooks had the option to do processing. So I'm using QuickBooks anyway for my financials.
Yeah, why not?
Why not, right? That makes sense. I even asked the question, are you sure? Because I'm a firearms industry business. We're good. Oh, we are good. And literally they froze my account because, and I get it. There was somebody who decided, I'm sure was running cards just to see what would hit, and ran like 25 within a matter of an hour. So they shut down.
Flag.
Right. So they shut down my account. I can appreciate that. The problem is they shut it down on a Friday. They didn't hold my account. They closed my account and then held on to over $8,000 for over 9 months.
I didn't know it was that long.
Wouldn't give me my money back.
Oh my God.
Because they kept saying, well, we have to wait for chargebacks. There are none. You shut the freaking account down.
That's insane.
Oh, yeah. QuickBooks processing? No.
Wow. So Square just closed the account and it took like 45 days for the money to, it
right.
slowly funneled in. It was like every week it was like a batch got released. So approved ones, Clover. That's the system that I use here. I'm transitioning out of that, but that's for other business adventures, integrating some stuff into my website. So Clover's good. I know that another store uses that. Actually, a few stores use that.
Authorize.net.
Authorize.net. I use that for some online stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're transitioning into what's called FortisPay.
Yep.
So they're good.
There's a few.
There's like 20 or 25 that Gunbroker uses.
There's one called Zero, I believe. Yep. Something, maybe it's something Zero or just Zero, and that is firearms approved.
Yep.
Also.
So if you guys have a small business and it's not in the 2A field, but you support 2A rights, don't give your credit card fees like to Square when they don't support that kind of thing, or to PayPal.
Your price points aren't different for the
Yeah.
most part. I mean, they're so similar and comparable across the board. Shop
Especially-
around and
yeah.
look.
especially if you're not doing, a high amount of sales, and it's not going to make a difference in the percentage aspect.
Well, a lot of people use the PayPal thing.
Yeah.
PayPal shuts your accounts down and freezes
Oh,
them
yeah.
too. So
PayPal sucks.
it's for some things it's necessary. Like I don't use it, but sometimes I have to pay because other people are using it, so I'll have to go that route.
Yeah.
But it's nice in that manner that you can still use it, but it's for a business. If that's where you're running all your cards through or your invoices through, or you're just having people pay you, they don't support your rights.
Nope, they do not. And they'll freeze your money.
Yep.
And they won't give it to you.
Probably
Which
faster than
when you have
QuickBooks.
small businesses, that really hurts a lot.
Yeah.
Especially depending on the amount.
Well, that's why I
you
kept
know.
saying, I realize it's only about $8,000, but I'm a small business,
Yeah.
and not to have $8,000 in my hands, that's my money.
Yep.
And when you have to spend,
And your product point of your stuff is a lot lower too.
correct.
It's not like it's $1,000 gun where, okay, I can't order 8 of them.
Nope.
It's you were on a lot of money for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was a good chunk. And I'm
Yeah.
glad that I didn't keep, because the way it worked was it would all go into a bank account attached to QuickBooks.
Mhm.
And I could pull money out of it, but they also enticed me to keep some money there because they gave me a fantastic interest rate. So I was like, oh, well, if I don't need it, and I'll do that. Well, every once in a while I'd filter it out because I'd either need it or I'd do something else with it. And I had just dumped out, I don't know, over 10 grand. Thank God.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I mean, and they crippled me for 2 weeks. I had no way of doing any credit card payments. I couldn't do any online sales. I couldn't do anything over the phone. It had to be in person, in cash for 3 weeks before I could get set up with a new
Yeah. Because it
account.
doesn't get approved right away either. Like
Nope.
they have to go, all these credit card companies, they have to go through what's called underwriting. And then make your contract and do whatever they do for checks and stuff.
Mhm.
And that takes a week and a half to get approved. Luckily on my end, I have GoDaddy payments I use for my classes. I have Authorize.net set up. I have FortisPay now, and I have Clover.
You have a way of running no matter what.
Yeah. So if one goes down, I have backups. I just have to flip things on my website to change things.
I have a backup too. I learned my lesson and I run 2 different ones.
Yep.
So for in-person runs, I use Simple Swipe,
Okay.
but then for online and for invoice and all that, it's Authorize.
There you go. So then you have a backup because, and I don't know, I know Michelle's not technologically savvy, but you can make what's called a virtual terminal too. So if like it ever did like your in-person one kick the bucket, you
I
can
have
still
that.
go
That's
through
my
that.
Authorize. I have a virtual.
Oh, okay.
I have to go to their website though, and it
Yeah.
just yes.
Oh, see, there she goes. She knows what's going on.
I got that.
So, that kind of stuff. Moving on. What about, I don't know, town requirements? Jump to that. Or,
Yeah, we can
you wanna
jump to towns
that one? The one with social.
because towns are tough
So,
on many levels.
yeah, in zoning, zoning is super fun. So depending on what you're doing, where you're going, where you want to open a business, planning and zoning, you have to get involved with. The building department, you're probably gonna have to get involved with.
If you have an FFL, you have to
Yeah.
get planning and zoning involved.
And then you got to be in a commercial building or maybe an industrial building, depends on how your zoning laws are set up for your town.
Well, and they have commercial, industrial, or manufacturing. Sometimes you can have a combination of all 3,
Yep.
just 2. It all depends.
Well, where we are here, we're zoned commercial / residential. That's how this whole street is.
but you can
because-
also do manufacturing here.
I do have that approval too. Yes.
Yeah.
We did get that in writing.
That's nice.
So,
That's nice.
But it's not a manufacturing zone, and it was limited to what the manufacturing was. I explained what I was doing,
Mhm.
or what I wanted to potentially do, which was when we were wanting to build others and everything, get that license and go through that process. I explained to them I wasn't like forging lowers here, right? We weren't drilling things out.
Yeah.
We were basically assembling, right? That
Yeah.
was, or what we wanted to do was assemble.
Yeah.
When the CT others were legal and everything. And, the ATF called that manufacturing. which is fine. They need to get an 07. We didn't end up going through all that route, but we were properly approved to do that. Whether it was zoned or it was just I know the document. I have the document.
Well, see where I'm at. We're not manufacturing.
I know, which is
I call it manufacturing light, because what we do is manufacture holsters.
You're not like building a car. So when I say manufacturing, I'm like you're like blacksmithing, right? You're ding ding,
right?
Ding,
or woods, woodworking and making cabinets or something. So I was able. They almost denied me for where I am because they're like, nope, no manufacturing. So that's an issue. Like if we ever decide to move, and a lot of times if you have manufacturing commercial, you can't have retail.
Yeah.
And so I have to find someplace that I can do manufacturing and retail.
Yep.
So it's a very hard balance, especially in this state, because other states are a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
This state is very difficult.
They're picky. And your towns are picky too.
Well, and then you're in the firearms industry. Yep. So then you have towns don't necessarily want you.
North Haven, right? So Peter Estrada, he owns a pistol permit company, and he wanted to start selling guns out of his space that he rents, and had to go through planning and zoning. And there's a whole backlash, and I don't know if they officially said no, but he withdrew the application.
Right.
So
which, see, that could have, depending on the fight he wanted to have, he may have been able to fight that. I mean, look at Kent. Kent, which is way out in the middle of nowhere, decided they had one gun store. So they were going to allow that gun store to stay within city limits. But if any other in city limits, like it's a town, it's way up there. They wanted to, any other gun store that wanted to open or firearm type industry would have had to go to the industrial area where, again, it wasn't zoned for retail. So that was fought and that was kicked down on the zoning level. They had a big public hearing and all this kind of stuff. But there are towns that play that game.
Stellington's pretty good when it comes to it. I know there's definitely like a handful or two of home-based FFLs. We have 2 official gun stores, myself and JoJo's, which
outdoors.
JoJo's outdoors now. Gunsmithing, right? That's kind of what they're known for.
Yeah.
And with the exception of like the building department, didn't really run into issues, things I didn't know that we needed. I knew the ATF side because that was pretty, established, right? I had Mary as my IOI, and she was like, "This is what you need." Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, okay.
They're pretty good about telling you. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was pretty easy in that aspect. Signage. Holy crap, signage. In this town and signage. Now I'm not going to name the company.
There's several towns that are like that though.
There's a company that was going around narking on companies' businesses. Sorry. There was a company going around narking on businesses that didn't get building approval to put up a sign, or in my case, it was to change a sign. So if you guys have been here, our big sign that's near the street over there used to say like Griffin Retail. And I mean, the sign is older than me.
So it was an existing sign.
It was a pre-existing sign. The sign was like 50 years old. Okay. That might be older than you. I don't know. And
not quite, but okay.
And it was, sun-baked for, let's say 50 years, 40 years, whatever it may be. And it had vinyl on there. So we had to soak the vinyl in Goo Gone, right? Spray it, scrape it, spray it, straight. It took us a couple of days to do that.
Yuck.
All I did to this sign was we painted the metal part of it black, spray paint. Didn't do anything fancy, right? Because it was peeling paint. It's probably lead paint, to be honest. Spray painted it black.
That's just what you need.
Yeah, right. More lead. And then I got my vinyl guy to slap a white piece of vinyl on it, and then he put our logo on it and the words. I didn't change the physical dimensions of the sign at all, right? I didn't replace anything either. I made it look better because it looked like crap. And there was a whole hubbubaloo with building on this. And I'm like, guys, here's the before picture. Here's the after picture. That's what I did. How is this an issue? And once you explain that, it wasn't an issue, but it certainly was an issue for my landlord and me for a hot minute. Stake signs, like the political signs.
Yeah.
There's been a hubbub about that in town, nothing to do with me, But with people putting stake signs down, and like they leave some, but then they take up some other ones, and there's no rhyme or reason to it too. They say, "Oh, we got a complaint." Well, did you, or did you just not like this person from high school, or something like that, right?
Or you don't care
again,
for
nothing
that
to do with me
cause.
on this case,
Right? Or you just don't care for that
Yeah.
cause.
But freaking signage, like it's
Yeah, see,
not
I don't-
obscene. It was pre-existing non-conforming. That's the one words I like to use because that's
Yeah.
written into Southington. And I'm like, all I did was make it look nicer, guys.
See,
Now
I
it doesn't
don't
look
have
like crap.
any of those experiences, but I can imagine the headache that would give you. There's a lot
is.
of headaches when it comes to
And signs are expensive. That place that was narking on everyone, they're really expensive. I got a quote from them to do a sign on this building, and I didn't know I was buying a car. Okay. It wouldn't have been a nice car, but like it still would have been a car.
the car's better.
I'm like, or I can have my guy that has done vinyl in the past just do that. It was sheet metal. We replaced the sheet metal and boom, done.
Yeah.
Like,
No, it's amazing. And when you don't own a business, so when you're branding new into this, and
every penny counts.
yeah, and you think, okay, all right, so that's cool. I'll just start a business. And then you start going down the rabbit hole of all of these different aspects that take place. And if you miss one or you miss another, it's tough. I mean, even your LLC, okay? I was like, okay, we need an LLC. No problem. I got this. Got the LLC. A year later, I get a notice in my email that says, I need your annual report.
And you're like, what the hell's an annual report?
And I'm like, okay, annual reports mean usually it's a financial affidavit of what you've done. You get that from the business license, or like if you have stocks or whatever.
But
you
it's
get
due
an
in
annual
March.
report. Right. And I'm like,
Taxes aren't done in March.
Well, I'm like, this is really freaking weird. So I went to my accountant and I went, I need an annual report. What does this mean? And he goes, oh, that just means you have to pay the $80 or whatever it is
to
for
the
this
state.
year. And I'm like, why don't they just call it a fee?
Yeah.
Like, it's not an annual report. It's a fee for having an LLC.
Yeah.
It's a tax.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yep.
And he's like,
Every year.
he goes, because the annual report sounds better. I'm like,
It does.
but as a
It's
good,
also a lie, but it does.
as a first person, first year in business, I'm going, holy crap, how do I do this? What do they want?
Yeah.
How much? Like how
So,
intricate?
I have two friends that recently started businesses. One of them is doing like t-shirts and that kind of stuff, and the other one is doing pest control. And two different businesses that need two different requirements, right? Because like you don't necessarily need an LLC for your t-shirts, but you definitely need an LLC for pest control, right?
And
Licensed and
insurance.
everything.
Yep.
So they had questions, and like I was like, sure, come over Sunday. So sat them down Sunday and I went through everything. I'm like, I don't know what kind of insurance you need to get, but you definitely need insurance. That's a you problem. I can't help you with that, but this is what you need to do for the state. And I went through with both of them. I went through and I'm like, this is what you need to do for a business. Cause again, there's no like how to. Ask your business friends if they want to start into a field or something.
Mhm.
Ask them what to do. Now, if you're going to go and do their exact same field, they're probably not going to be that helpful. Right.
Well, unless it's farther away.
Yeah.
I'll
Right.
help.
If you're if you're in Kent, I'll help you. That's okay. Only Kent, apparently.
Out of state works great too,
Yeah, that too.
apparently.
Yeah. And I mean, I have no problem helping people. And I wish somebody was around for me when I did that.
No kidding.
Would save some headaches, but
In a lot of aspects. It's just even just the banking, like I said with QuickBooks, I've since gotten rid of them.
good. I was going to ask that. Good.
But yeah, I did. They like totally done with you.
Kick a rock.
But like even when it comes down to your financials and tracking your financials, if you don't have a business prior, and I have a good financial background. I understand all of this, but when you apply it to a business, I've worked in the financial field for other people, but when it's yours, it's a different ballgame.
Yep.
And it was like, all right, so, and that's why I went with QuickBooks, because everybody says QuickBooks.
No.
That's who you use, QuickBooks. And I was like, okay.
Who do you use now?
Wave.
Yeah, I got her on the Wave train.
I did.
So Wave, and I wish I got paid for this too.
My accountant is
Uh,
not pleased because he doesn't like it as much.
I don't care. My account doesn't like it either, but it's super easy. So there's a company called Wave, WAVE. And then their website is that plus apps.com. It's free. There's a
I
paid
pay.
version too.
I
Yep,
did.
so do I.
I paid
Um,
the next tier up
yep.
or whatever because it was what I needed.
Yep. But like there's the free version, especially for new business owners, super easy. Integrates right into your bank account,
Mhm.
and then everything's a line item. So like I spent $1,000 at Lipsy's, right, which is one of my wholesalers. Cool. Purchases, retail purchases, whatever my line item is. I spent, $22 on Amazon. Cool. It was ink. That wouldn't be ink, but it's expensive. But then office supplies, right? And I can do that with every single line item that comes into my bank account. I can run reports. I do my payroll through there. I
Profit
pay for
loss
that
every month for your sales tax.
Yep, I can run a sales tax thing. So I cannot say enough good things about them. I've had one issue that it was an integration. So Liberty actually did an update on their end, and because everything goes through a third party called I can't think of the name, but it integrates a lot of your like financial apps into your bank account. It's that little middle ground. And Liberty and that middle ground weren't talking. Because the original where it was pointed no longer existed because they changed things.
Okay.
So then Wave had to contact them. They had to get it pointed back to the right direction, and now we're good. It was a little pain in the ass for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Just reconnect it.
I tried to, but because they changed, Liberty changed everything.
Okay.
It was a huge update in their system.
Okay.
So we had to get that fixed. But in the meantime, I just manually entered everything. So like I pulled up on one screen because I have multiple screens in my office. I pulled up my Liberty bank account. I pulled up Wave and just went boop, 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 boop for 3 weeks. While it took about that because I didn't notice it for a week. So, and it was fine. Right? And we've been pretty good ever since. Every now and again, maybe one word won't like go over. And I'll just look it up, move it over, and we're good.
I like it because it tracks my credit cards too. So it tracks what's running to
I've
where.
never put my cards in.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
Business cards because then I can track my business like when I'm paying, what's paying off, where it's going, and when it's being, when the credit card is being used for my cost of goods or whatever, that's right there in my Wave.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never integrated those. Like when I go like pay $1,000 on my Chase card or something, I just have that as like product purchase because like I purchased like a Fight Light or something.
Okay.
So I don't spend.
Integrate it. It makes it easy. Probably
would. It's a good idea. See, I learned something from Michelle. Not often.
Don't make it sound like it's amazing.
All right, and the last piece of business here, because we're hitting the half-hour mark here, social media.
Oh, the bane of my existence.
Facebook. I didn't say it. I mouthed it.
I mouthed it.
I hate you. You're a horrible, necessary evil.
Yeah, but did you see Zuckerman just went in, whatever it is, it goes back to my technology. Yep. Leave me alone. Just went in front of Congress.
Yeah, and admitted that Biden Harris pressured him to COVID stuff. Yeah.
So and being certain agendas. So maybe some of this will change.
I'll hold my breath.
Please don't.
Yeah, right. Facebook, Instagram, Google, pain in the ass, guys, to be blunt.
Well, you have your aspect of it, and we'll go over
I have
that.
two aspects.
But then I have something else I want to talk about too.
So Google, I can advertise classes.
Okay.
I can't advertise my store.
Oh, see, I can because I'm just holsters.
Yeah. Facebook, I can advertise classes. I can't advertise my store. Facebook, back around November, changed their algorithm. And this is why you've seen stores disappear off Facebook.
Yes.
If you are flagged and you then post a picture of a gun, you get flagged again. And then you continuously ride that wave until they delete you. What I learned recently is reels, which are videos, are okay. Because their algorithm doesn't work on a video, I guess. I don't know why, but that's what's worked for me.
So if you
Other
did,
people have just posted like a part of the gun.
but if
and
you
that
did
works.
an ad as a video,
No, I don't-
it would still pick it up.
So ads, I'm talking about like when I run promotions for like pistol permit classes, right?
Right.
So I'm paying for reach. I'm paying for not
But-
organic reach.
But that's what I'm saying. But even on Facebook, for the
Facebook,
gun
not even an
store-
ad, just posting a picture on Lock and Load Firearms. If I posted a picture of a Glock 19 right now, it would be taken down in about 22 minutes. That's the normal time. And I would get a flag on my personal account and the business account. One of my 2 business accounts is one flag being deleted again.
Then how come I can put a gun in
I have
a
no,
holster
because you
and
haven't
take
been flagged
pictures?
yet. It's going to happen.
Shh, quiet.
It does. It's happening to everybody. It happened to TGS. It happened to Central.
TGS has been getting hit.
It happened to Central Connecticut. He lost his page. JoJo's, I know, has been hit a few times. John's told me. It's happened to me plenty of times.
Well, yeah.
Every now and again, I'll like look up a competitor's business and then poof, they're gone.
Yeah.
Because they disappeared or closed just because Facebook said F you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Instagram, the same thing.
They're both. They're
Well, yeah, they're owned by the same company.
Yeah.
They're owned by Meta. Twitter, no problems.
What about WhatsApp?
That's just texting.
Oh,
You thinking like LinkedIn or something? LinkedIn's another thing, but Twitter, Twitter's okay.
what about X?
That is Twitter.
Oh.
X
See,
is formerly Twitter. Michelle doesn't do that much.
My
social media, I
knowledge
guess.
is coming through.
It's okay. So Twitter's okay, but you got to build that organic reach. And honestly, a lot of people just don't use Twitter.
I thought Twitter was just text. Also, it can be pictures.
Yes, Michelle. That's been like that for a while.
Shh.
Anyways, but Facebook is the main ad aspect. And we had issues. I moved stuff to my own website now, right? You can't control my website. So I have an area on my website called What's New.
Mhm.
Everything that I cross post to Twitter and post on Facebook and post on Instagram as reels, I post on my website too.
Mhm.
So if you don't have any of that, cool. You have a phone and you can type in lockandloadct.com and then click on that and see what came in that's new. Right. And those like auto delete after 2 weeks or so. I can set the settings differently. But it's Truth Social, which is Trump's version of a Twitter.
Yep.
That has no following. I think I had like 16 people on there. That just wasn't worth my time.
Right.
So there's no real alternative out there without investing a ton of money. I've looked into building my own app before. And it's going to cost probably more money than it's worth. And then I have to get somebody to download the app. Then you have to go and check that app.
Right.
That's why Facebook was so convenient, because a lot of people have it.
Well, again, we go into owning a business and what you don't know getting into it.
Yep.
And because there's no script. So as Josh has pointed out, I'm not necessarily the most tech savvy person on earth. No giggles. So I figured, okay, I get a website. I sell. My business grows. Yay.
That's not how that works.
No, not at
I
all.
wish that was how that works.
You have to learn, and I don't
You have to learn things on your website called SEO, search engine optimization.
Yeah.
To learn how that works. Now, Michelle and I have a degree in computer programming, so I'm a little more technologically sound than Michelle is. And I managed my own website for years, up until probably a year and a half ago. We both have this regular. His name's Jim. And this is what he does. He does website stuff. So he ended up doing Michelle's first, and then basically I got talked into him doing mine, because I needed to do some more complex stuff, and the hosting I was using, which was GoDaddy, just couldn't do that anymore. So I needed to get a little more advanced into that.
Well, and
Now-
Josh still does a lot on his website.
Yep.
I have a website guy.
I mean, I have a website guy too. When something breaks, I call him. So he hears from me a lot less than I'm sure he hears from Michelle. But unless something breaks on his end, I can do what I need to do on it, which was an important part too. I didn't want to lose control to my website, so I'd have to bother him every time. Like if I wanted to change a date or something, I wanted to be able to do that.
I think that was a dig.
It really wasn't. It was just because I know how to do it. So
I know.
but that was important. And so was the SEOs. The SEOs, Turch.
That's new. I did not know that one.
link into my Google ads. So when you look up Connecticut pistol permit, yeah, I pay for ads because that's how I get people into my classes. And that's also has to do with the ranking of the website and how things are worded in there, certain words, certain key phrases. And that's why I do a lot of pistol permit classes. That's why I throw a lot of money into Google ads, much more than Facebook, actually 3 times more in Google than I do Facebook, every month.
And do you have them go to your website? Like, where do you drive
right to
them?
my website?
Okay.
Right to the website, right to the CT pistol permit page.
With all the ads, you can drive them to phone calls, to messages. To,
my phone number's on there too. I get those phone calls. Sometimes they'll call. I have a training center number and then I have the store number. I was driving them to the training center number, which I don't always pick up all the time because it goes to my cell phone. So then I started driving into the store and we get those phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we get some really weird phone calls though from people. It's weird. And then it says like Google ads call.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool. I just paid for this person to call me.
Right.
And then it's like, do you sell paintball guns? No, I don't. Nowhere on my website, nor on any of my social media do you see a paintball gun.
But he saw your number and he decided to call.
Yep. And that just cost me my Google ads. So, thanks. No, but it is good. And that integrates into my Google reviews too, which is why I push those so hard.
Well, then you have, as just with all of this, so that's it, like social media and advertising becomes like key in order to get your name out there, especially as a small business. So there's a lot of a learning curve that comes into play with all of this. And then you get into your automation and bots and blah, blah, blah. AI, which is now taking off.
Yep.
And I have to do some research because I don't understand. I do know what AI is. And I know when I get the call with an AI person, I don't know how to integrate it into my world and make my world better with AI. That's what I'm going to work on next. Just say it.
All right. Just gonna have a little Decepticon working in her back room, making
bots.
Yeah. Flying around, little drones flying around, transporting kydex over.
Oh my God, that'd be freaking great.
It would be. So they crash into each other. And then one of them goes to the bandsaw.
Then I'd have to reprogram those bots.
Oh man. All right. Anything else on this one?
No, I'm good. I think we've hit a lot of good stuff. I don't know if it was interesting to you. I hope it was. Just kind of goes through. I mean, yes, we're talking about 2A stuff specific, but business in general. In Connecticut, we live in a state that is not business friendly, especially small business. So it is a little difficult to navigate. And anyone who's doing it, congrats.
Yeah.
Period. Just congrats.
All right.
I'm good.
My name's Josh.
I'm Michelle.
And we see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.